Stop planting hydrangeas incorrectly. If your shrubs look weak, produce few or no blooms, or never resemble those lush, magazine-worthy plants, there's a good chance you're repeating the same mistakes many gardeners make year after year. Take a look at the difference. On one side, there's a hydrangea that appears dull, weak, and struggling. On the other, the same type of plant is full of life, covered in rich color and abundant blooms. That difference isn't luck. It's not about the weather either. It all comes down to how the plant was planted. Every year, countless gardeners make the same costly errors when planting hydrangeas, leading to ongoing frustration and disappointing results. But here's the good news. Once you understand what those mistakes are and how to avoid them, your hydrangeas can thrive just like the healthy, vibrant example you see. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most common and damaging hydrangea planting mistakes and show you exactly how to fix them so you can enjoy large, beautiful blooms season after season. And be sure to watch until the end, because I'll also share a few expert-level tips, insights that experienced gardeners rely on, that can take your hydrangeas from simply good to truly outstanding. The first mistake many people make is choosing the wrong location. Hydrangeas are quite sensitive when it comes to light, and they don't do well in extremes. Too much direct sun, especially strong afternoon sun, can scorch their leaves, fade or damage blooms, and stress the plant overall. On the other hand, too much shade leads to weak, stretched growth, fewer flowers, and a plant that always looks like it's reaching for light. Many gardeners assume hydrangeas will adapt to any spot in the yard, but in reality, placement is one of the most important factors for success. Ideally, hydrangeas grow best in a location that gets gentle morning sun followed by afternoon shade. This balance provides enough light for strong blooming while protecting the plant from intense midday heat. Planting them under a tree might seem like a smart choice, but tree roots often compete aggressively for water, leaving hydrangeas struggling to stay hydrated and nourished. On the other hand, placing them in a fully exposed area with no protection from the afternoon sun can be just as harmful. The key is understanding their natural habitat. Hydrangeas are woodland edge plants. They prefer filtered light, consistent moisture, and some protection. When you recreate those conditions, they respond with lush growth and abundant, beautiful blooms year after year. The second mistake is digging the planting hole incorrectly. It may seem like a minor detail, but it plays a major role in the long-term health of your plant. Many people dig holes that are either too deep or too narrow. If the hole is too deep, the crown of the plant ends up buried below the soil level, which can lead to rot, poor oxygen flow to the roots, and gradual decline. If the hole is too narrow, the roots don't have enough room to spread and establish properly. Hydrangeas need space underground to grow strong. The correct approach is to dig a hole that is about twice as wide as the root ball but no deeper. This wide, shallow shape encourages the roots to spread outward naturally, which is how hydrangeas prefer to grow. Another common mistake is skipping root preparation. When hydrangeas are grown in containers, their roots often become tightly packed and circle around the inside of the pot. If you plant them without loosening those roots, they may continue circling and eventually restrict their own growth. Gently loosening the root ball, or even making a few shallow cuts, helps break that pattern and encourages the roots to grow outward into the surrounding soil. It's a simple step, but it makes a huge difference over time, and it's one that many gardeners overlook. The third mistake: poor soil preparation. The third common mistake is planting hydrangeas in soil that hasn't been properly prepared. While hydrangeas aren't overly demanding, they do have clear preferences. They perform best in soil that is rich, well-draining, and able to retain moisture without becoming overly saturated. Unfortunately, many gardeners plant them straight into heavy clay or loose sandy soil without making any adjustments. In clay soil, water tends to collect and linger, creating a dense, oxygen-poor environment where roots can suffocate and eventually rot. In sandy soil, the opposite happens. Water drains too quickly, leaving the roots dry and stressed. Both conditions can lead to long-term problems. The ideal soil for hydrangeas is loose, fertile, and rich in organic matter. Mixing in compost, leaf mold, or well-aged manure helps create the perfect balance, improving drainage, boosting nutrients, and maintaining consistent moisture. Another important factor that's often overlooked is soil pH. Many people are aware that pH affects hydrangea flower color. Acidic soil produces blue blooms, while alkaline soil results in pink ones. But beyond color, pH also determines how well the plant can absorb nutrients. If the soil is too far out of balance, the plant may struggle to access essential nutrients, no matter how much fertilizer you apply. Taking the time to test and improve your soil before planting can make a lasting difference. Hydrangeas can live for many years, even decades, when they are planted in conditions that suit them. The fourth mistake: incorrect watering. During establishment. The fourth mistake is not watering properly during the early stages after planting. Hydrangeas are known for their love of moisture. Their name literally translates to water vessel. Yet both overwatering and underwatering are among the most common reasons these plants fail to thrive. Right after planting, hydrangeas need consistent, deep watering to help their roots establish. A common mistake is watering lightly and frequently, which only moistens the surface. This leads to shallow root growth, making the plant more vulnerable to heat and drought. On the other hand, giving them too much water can create soggy conditions that encourage root rot. The goal is to water deeply, usually once or twice a week depending on your climate, so moisture reaches the full root zone. Mulching is another critical step that many gardeners overlook. Applying mulch around the base of the plant helps retain soil moisture, while it keeps roots cool and reduces weed competition. A layer about 2 to 3 inches thick, using materials like shredded bark or compost, can significantly stabilize the growing environment. Without mulch, the soil dries out much faster, putting additional stress on the plant. If you think back to the earlier comparison, the healthy plant had a well-defined mulch layer, while the struggling one was planted in bare, exposed soil. Small details like this might seem insignificant, but over time they make a dramatic difference in how your hydrangeas grow and perform. The fifth mistake: pruning at the wrong time. The fifth mistake, and often the most frustrating, is improper pruning. Many gardeners feel motivated to tidy up their hydrangeas in fall or spring, only to unknowingly remove all the future flower buds. The problem comes down to understanding how different hydrangea varieties grow. Not all hydrangeas bloom the same way. Some produce flowers on old wood, while others bloom on new growth. Without knowing which type you have, it's easy to prune at the wrong time and lose an entire season of blooms. For example, big leaf hydrangeas typically bloom on old wood. This means they form their flower buds in late summer for the following year. If you cut them back in fall or early spring, you're actually removing the buds that would have produced next season's flowers. On the other hand, panicle and smooth hydrangeas bloom on new wood. These types can handle pruning much more easily without affecting their ability to flower. The mistake happens when gardeners treat all hydrangeas the same, cutting them back aggressively at the wrong time of year. Another common issue is overpruning. Some people cut their plants down too severely, thinking it will encourage stronger growth. In reality, this often weakens the shrub and reduces its overall performance. Hydrangeas usually don't need heavy pruning at all. In most cases, a light trim to shape the plant and remove dead or crossing branches is more than enough. Understanding your specific hydrangea type and pruning accordingly is the key to maintaining those large, beautiful blooms year after year. It's one of the most common mistakes gardeners make, but fortunately, it's also one of the easiest to correct once you know what to do. EOT bonus tips from experienced gardeners. There are also a few extra tips that experienced gardeners rely on. Small details that might seem minor at first, but can make a huge difference in how your hydrangeas perform. One of the most valuable tips is properly acclimating your hydrangea before planting it in the ground. Many hydrangeas are grown in controlled nursery conditions, with ideal watering and filtered light. If you take one of these plants and immediately place it into your garden, especially in full sun, the sudden change in light, soil, and temperature can shock the plant. Experienced gardeners avoid this by hardening off their plants first. They place the hydrangea outdoors in partial shade for a few hours each day, gradually increasing its exposure over the course of a week. This slow adjustment allows the plant to adapt to real outdoor conditions. By the time it's planted in the ground, it's already prepared, leading to less stress and faster establishment. It's a simple step that requires a bit of patience, but it's one of the key differences between beginner and experienced gardeners. Another expert tip involves timing. Many beginners assume hydrangeas can be planted at any time, but experienced gardeners know that timing plays a critical role. The best times to plant hydrangeas are early spring, before intense heat arrives, or early fall, when the soil is still warm but the air is cooler. Planting in the middle of summer forces a young plant to deal with heat stress and constant watering before its roots have had time to establish. In contrast, planting in spring or fall gives the hydrangea a much better chance to settle in under gentler conditions. This small adjustment in timing can make a big difference, often determining whether your plant struggles through its first season or thrives with strong growth and abundant blooms. Experienced gardeners also understand that root competition is a hidden threat to hydrangeas. While beginners often plant them beneath large trees or beside thirsty shrubs, more experienced growers avoid these spots. Tree roots aggressively absorb water and nutrients, leaving the soil dry and compacted, which makes it difficult for hydrangea roots to breathe and develop properly. Instead, experts choose locations where the plant doesn't have to compete, or they improve the area with raised beds or enriched soil so the roots can expand freely. It might not be visible above ground, but below the surface, this decision has a huge impact on the plant's long-term strength and health. Another advanced tip involves deadheading. Many beginners remove faded blooms whenever they notice them, assuming it will trigger more flowers right away. However, experienced gardeners know that with hydrangeas, deadheading isn't about increasing blooms in the current season. It's about managing the plant's energy. By carefully cutting off spent flowers just above a healthy set of leaves, you help redirect nutrients into strengthening the plant's structure and root system. Precision matters here. Cutting too low or too aggressively can remove buds that are already forming for the next season. Professionals treat deadheading as a careful, intentional process, always thinking ahead to future growth. Fertilizing is another area where experienced gardeners stand apart. Beginners often feed their plants throughout the season, whenever they feel the plant looks weak. But experts understand that fertilizing too late in the year can actually do more harm than good. Applying nitrogen-rich fertilizer late in summer encourages soft new growth at a time when the plant should be slowing down and preparing for winter. That tender growth is vulnerable to frost damage, which weakens the plant going into the next season. Seasoned gardeners typically stop fertilizing by midsummer, allowing the hydrangea to naturally transition toward dormancy. This approach helps ensure stronger stems and better blooms the following year. And finally, one of the most overlooked but important secrets is winter protection. Many people assume hydrangeas can handle winter conditions on their own, but experienced gardeners know that protecting flower buds during the colder months is essential, especially for varieties that bloom on old wood. Simple steps like adding a thick layer of mulch around the base, wrapping the plant in burlap, or covering it with fallen leaves to insulate the crown can make all the difference. These small efforts can determine whether your plant bursts with flowers in spring or emerges with bare stems. Skilled gardeners see winter not as a passive period, but as an active stage of protecting the work the plant has already done. So when you think back to those comparison images, the struggling, lifeless hydrangea versus the vibrant, blooming one, it becomes clear that success isn't about luck. It's about understanding and avoiding common mistakes and giving the plant what it truly needs from the start. Choosing the right location, preparing the soil properly, digging the correct hole, watering effectively, and pruning with knowledge all contribute to the difference between frustration and long-term success. Hydrangeas aren't as difficult as they're sometimes made out to be, but they do have specific needs. Once you learn to work with those needs instead of against them, they reward you with some of the most stunning blooms in the garden. If your hydrangeas haven't been performing the way you hoped, don't get discouraged. Almost every gardener has made at least one of these mistakes. I certainly have. What matters is that you now know what to look for and how to fix it. The best time to make improvements is right now. And hydrangeas are resilient enough to recover when given the right care. Take a moment to look at your own plants, identify any of these issues, and make the necessary adjustments. With time, you'll see the difference. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss future tips on growing healthier, more beautiful plants. Leave a comment and tell me which of these mistakes you've encountered, or share your own tips for growing amazing hydrangeas. Until next time, happy gardening, and may your hydrangeas always bloom at their best.